been moved out, but you don't really have that until you've got the environmental assessment back and the ALDOT permitting and all of that. Okay, so that still is forthcoming, but you are rapidly moving toward that day. Okay, having ISPs at this point sign master service agreements to do service, communities are wanting to know, is anybody on board at this point?
Yes, sir. We're currently in negotiations with several organizations.
Okay.
We are obviously fostering a relationship with the company. That information, any information pertinent to that from a provider standpoint, I'm more than happy to come in, because there's 3 components to a master service agreement that have to evaluate technical, performance, and financial. So that component, that's where our pending status is with our provider. I see that window being another 60 to 90 days.
Okay. And is your question along the lines of who's on board right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I have 2 or 3 questions. So, first, I just want to say that I hope that as we identify service providers, that we have a commitment to first solicit providers from the Alabama Broadband Commission. Okay? It is not going to do us any good if all of the resources for this project goes outside of the region that we're trying to do economic development. And I'm curious, who are those men sitting in the front?
These gentlemen were all introduced in the beginning.
Yeah,
they
no,
are
I
from the
wasn't- I
project
didn't- I didn't
team.
get it.
They're from Trillion, A2D, A+, and the Broadband Authority itself.
Yeah, well, I'm a little confused since Latrice Butler was the person who started this idea. And some 20 years ago, she has worked persistently to bring a project like this into fruition. Why isn't she sitting up there in the front? And why are we not respecting female leadership? I'm real confused about that.
I had I was listening to Tom Joyner this morning on a radio station, and he was doing a introspection on Black history. This is new to me. There's a young man who died recently, who was the first developer of the Atari system, the gaming system. That he and Steve Jobs and Ellison, all of these guys from Oracle and from Microsoft were friends. He was only black in the group. But he had this idea, he built something in his garage that was like a simplified gaming system. That he talked to his buddies, Steve Jobs and these other guys. And let's look at this together and maybe we can build something, from Microsoft or from a Oracle standpoint. Well, that guy grew up in Oracle and Microsoft all these years. Nobody knew. He was the father of the gaming system, the cartridges that we using. You remember ping pong or pong we used to have back in the Atari days many years ago? Well, the thing is, people have great ideas. I have good ideas, but my wife doesn't appreciate them. And maybe next year she will evoke them or enact them, but people have great ideas. We recognize the great ideas and contribution of this the project itself was created by me. We were asked by the Department of Commerce to prepare a project representing the Southeast. And this Pat Haynes, who's the director of the Department of Commerce out of Atlanta, asked me to target, spearhead a project and pull together a team of people that I thought had the competency and the skill sets to get us from point A to point B. And I think at one point in time, there were collaborations between people in this room. And, but at the end of the day, I had to decide who can bring me the best value quickly and without a lot of fanfare. Because it's not all about us, it's about the community. And A2D and A+ were brought on as the key core members of the project. Not to say that others won't be brought on, later as the project continues on. But ideas are great ideas, and we like them.
So you say that's all I have to say. I wanted to say there's a movie called Faces, and it deals with the same thing. There was some college students that went to Harvard. They came up with the idea. One friend took the idea and went further. So my point is, I don't think that we should negate the contribution for Teresa to this project, because I think a part of it, she's a part of the conception. What I do want to do is make sure that we continue to empower leadership in Alabama. We empower the municipalities and empower the cities in Alabama and the people of Alabama. We make sure this money that comes in is a rotational thing where it continues to create jobs and create some type of economic stability for people who are dealing with poverty.
We need to move on. There's only a couple of questions left, and then anyone who has additional comments or questions of the project team, I'm sure that if you'll give them a quick 5-minute break, I'm sure they'll probably be glad to answer them. They came a long way to take care of
That's not
questions.
insignificant questions, Johnson. Let me tell you something now. I sit here and I'm looking at the fact that everybody up there is black and male. And I'm telling you, like I tell the governor himself, I just refuse to continue to be shut out. And it's my money that's going to pay for the things that they want.
That's correct.
Okay? Let us be real.
You're right, it's not an insignificant question
That's
at
right.
all. And
That's right.
I apologize if it came across as that we felt that it was. We're just, yes, go ahead and speak to that and we'll move forward.
Okay, let me try to share a little history so that we make sure that we all kind of leave this room still together. Because we've kind of been together as we go along. And I want to commend, actually two ladies that are in the room. First lady is Patrice, and who I met in 2000. As I was doing a lot of what you're hearing about right now in Georgia. Actually, I did some things in Scottsboro, Alabama. You probably know a little bit about that. You probably heard a little bit about Selma Alabama. You heard a little bit. You hear a lot of different things. And I was out as a consultant doing these kinds of things. And she was doing her thing of what she does from an economic development standpoint. And somewhere along there, actually a competitor of mine that did the same thing I did, when she came to him and asked him and explained to him what she wanted to have happen. He actually gave her my name. When she called me and told me that, you know, this person had given her my name, I was flabbergasted because it was a competitor. And so I'm like, why did we give her my name? But anyway, we met, and a long relationship developed from that particular standpoint. We've done a lot of walking down the roads and a lot of different things from that standpoint. As Ralph said, round one, man, did we have big dreams. $320 million, 7 different clusters, 3 states. We had a big one. We got all the way to the end. We got all the way to February before they finally told us we just didn't have enough points to get funded. And we came back, as they said, in round 2 and said, that was a shotgun, let's zero it in on the rifle. I don't want to negate in the middle of that process, Pat Haynes, who's the, I guess the Southeast Regional Director for Minority Business Development Agency, was the one that caused us to meet. I was out trying to do what I was trying to do. He was doing what he was trying to do. She told him, and he didn't really want to be in this thing. Let me tell you that right now. And she told him, I want you to form a group, and I want a submission. And so we came together, we met. It seemed like working together was much better than working apart. And so we forged this. It was a lot of work. In round 2, we was like, okay, we're going to rifle this thing. We had 3 states. Where are we going to concentrate? Are we going to concentrate in Georgia? We're going to concentrate in Alabama? We're going to concentrate in Mississippi? And I met another lady, Ms. Josephine McCall, that's sitting over there at a meeting, found both Ralph and I, and Tony, in a meeting, and said, you need to come to Alabama. And she told us all about it. The areas overlap with what I had already been working with Latrice on. And she then introduced us to Dr. McCall, not a lady, but, and we told them what we needed him to do. We need a partnership of the community that's going to go out and work in the community to get their support while we do the technical. We're going to build this thing, we're going to make it work, but you are the community, and you got to bring them if we want to do it. They committed to us, we committed to them. Here we are today as a team, bringing together something that I think is great. It's the largest one in Alabama. I would probably say it's one of the largest ones that they issue in the nation. And right now, what we're here to do is to try to bring everybody together to understand what this is going to do. Let us go get it built. We'll work through the problems and the issues as we go along with everybody at the table, so that we all can determine how this is going to best benefit. You guys got a great start to the SCABC. The members that have stepped forward here that are currently leading it, I think they're wonderful. You guys know them. And I'll just tell you that from our standpoint, at the end of the day, it's going to be yours through the SCABC. Our job is to make sure when we install it that it works. My job, besides handling the transfer of it, making sure that you know what you're getting, if you don't get $89 million of stuff and half of it down the road, and all that. My job is to make sure that the transfer goes right, but also to make sure when we hit the switch and the light goes on and the service provider says that they're sending things, it does what we said it was going to do. If you had a car, when you turn the key, you expect for it to start, you expect for it to drive down the road, you expect to turn the wheel, you expect all of those things to happen. So that's my job. And actually, that's one of the things that Teresa asked me to do way back when, because she had a vision, she knew what she wanted, she said, and she had a plan, but she said, it's got to work. And so that's what we're here. We have a great team. As Ralph said, we've gone through probably more than most teams go through a lot of questions. And I think that this team is ready to execute. We just need community to come together to work with us so we can get this thing accomplished and actually demonstrate how well that they work. So I don't want to downplay anyone. Everyone had a significant role to play in getting this thing done. What we didn't have in round one that we have now is you. We didn't have that kind of support from the community. That was the thing that was missing when we went through our last action report. And so we knew going into the second one, we actually had 3 different areas on the table that we were looking at. 2 in Georgia, 1 here. And as we went through the process to select it, it was you that caused us to say, we're going to focus right here. So I just want to make sure that we keep that. We keep that community and we move forward. So that's the only thing. One other job that you call it community partners. So my job is to make sure we all stay in partnership. And so I want to make sure that that's what we're doing.
I just like to say that there's no problem that can't be solved. That's why I learned to speak as an engineer. If it's a problem, it can be solved. A mess needs to be doing 513. I believe we have a problem. Okay, that can be solved, and I've reached out multiple times to Ms. Brown, as you acknowledge. I've reached out to this, and so it's a problem that can be solved. I just assure you that. And the issue is, it's not a big problem, but there's a big missing part. 18 plus 2 is 20. And there are people in this room, counties, cities, who are part of this history. Like I said, I would like to cheat on that because I know every step of the way. I don't necessarily agree with the last step, but we can fix that. And so there's no problem we can't solve. I'm here in the spirit of let's get this done. Because on that document that I put together here, 10 years ago, $300 million fell off the table. And I can show you better than I can tell you. I will send you this document, it's already uploaded, that we lost $300 million because the people didn't want to do right. So the issue is, I just want to make sure it's done right with some oversight. Because, as they say, this is my baby, but I have asked some men to help me.
We have one final question. I'm sorry, we have one final question that was submitted early in the meeting, and I think you have already answered this, Mr. Brown. It's really kind of a simple yes or no. Is A2D at this point the network operator for the next 25 plus years?
No.
Or is that yet to be decided?
It's one of the things that's yet to be decided.
Okay.
What we have done, and you will see in the online, is a letter was written in October 7, 2010 that says A2D is, their status is being changed from a contractor to a sub-recipient and to the network operator. That's been filed. And there's heated discussion with the internal team about whether or not that was appropriate. So we're working those issues, and we will come to a resolution before the fiber is lit up. Because someone has to run and operate that fiber once it goes live, especially for yourself.
Yes.
So,
and that's a key piece that the ISPs need to know as they move forward with thinking about or talking about using this network. As a closing remark, is it a super fast question?
Yes,
Everybody has got that.